What is up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of SITH Happens. Sorry we missed last week, but your boy was out in the South trying to see somewhere, you know, my anniversary. So, hey, if you ever want to see me again, you better let me go. We got a packed house for you today. First, we got my man, Jedi Chris, my cohort. What's happening, Jedi Chris?
How y'all doing? I survived viewing of the movie twice, and I still want to see it again just because I haven't seen it in 3D yet. So anyway, I'm glad to be here.
And also, we have a very special guest here today. We got Jabba's finest, the bounty hunter, Boba Fett himself, the Paradox Nerd. What's happening, my brother?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, actually. We're all banging our lightsabers up. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I already watched the movie twice already, so probably about to make it a third time with my kids this weekend. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about that.
Cover it, we will. And also, we got the man with the plan, the wizard behind the curtain, Mr. Richard Melbourne himself. What is happening, my brother?
Just because my sleeves are really big doesn't mean I've got wizard sleeves. There's no need for any of that for. It's 2 a.m, yes, it's after Watershed, but there's no need to call me out like that. It's big, I'll admit it. It is. I saw the movie 7 a.m. on Thursday in 4DX, and if you've ever been thrown around at 7 a.m, and I don't mean in the good way, then you know, I was literally at 7 a.m. getting thrown about in seats, water in my face, getting bubbles, smoke. It was still not the strangest thing I did in that morning. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Alrighty then. So obviously, the first topic here today is the Force Awakens. The Last Jedi has come out, and we've all viewed it. Me, I almost didn't, but I had to for the sake of the show. What are the thoughts, opinions? Going for this is our spoiler-free review, so it's gonna be kind of hard to critique this thing. But Sunday is no holds barred, and I'll kick it first to Jedi Chris.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I saw it on 2D last night, and then IMAX this morning. I was almost late to see it, but I like the movie. Obviously, watched it twice, so I do think that the porgs, the little bird things that we see in the previews, are pretty cute as hell, and I'm pretty pure enough to say they're cute. Anyway, but I noticed there was there's some chemistry between some of the characters that I either liked or I questioned, like what was going on. I mean, was that really necessary to have that in there? But again, that's with any movie. You're gonna find stuff that you really like, and you're gonna find stuff you're like, I could have done without that, or maybe if they did that extra step. And that's about all I'm really gonna dig into. I might throw in some other comments, but I'm not going to give away any spoilers because, like I said, Sunday is no hold barred. So everyone that's watching this better see it soon, so we don't ruin it for you.
We're not going to ruin it. Promise.
Yeah, so that's it for right now. I'm going to be quiet for like a couple seconds.
Well, for me, I liked it. I did like it. I went in going like medium. I wasn't too high. I wasn't too low because everybody knows I wasn't crazy about The Force Awakens. I like this a lot better than I like The Force Awakens. Some parts I thought were unnecessary, but you know, I've always been a fan of infinite wisdom and you know, elders trying to teach the younger generation whether they want to listen or not. That's why Yoda has always been my favorite Jedi character or whatever. And you know, you got some of that in this movie, you know, and it was some surprises. There was some surprises, some twists and turns, there's stuff you weren't expecting. But, you know, I can't really get all the way into it. But I did like it, you know. And I'm curious to see where it goes from here, you know. But some things it's kind of hard to see where it's going to go. But I did like it. I did like it. But we'll get into it further on Sunday. Plug. And next, we'll give it to Boba and see what he think. What do you think, Paradox?
Okay, I just want to start off by saying that I actually watched the movie last night around like 9 o'clock, 9 minutes. And my buddy and I actually dressed up for the movie, which is, you know, like we dressed up for The Force Awakens, and we were one of the few ones that did dress up. And behold, like there was like news cameras, news reporters. I guess it's been a while since like the movie came out, so we were in like in newspapers and like Channel 7 News. It was all weird. So this time around, we were like expecting kind of like the same thing. So we was like, all right, let's just dress up. So my friend, he dressed up as Darth Maul. I dressed up as Kylo, and when we went there, it was just us that were dressed up. But it was fine. Like we you know, we had fun. We were like you know, we were like dueling in like the middle of like the movie theater. And but in terms of the movie, yeah, I'm gonna put on my flame suit on. I didn't like it. I mean, I would say it's not my favorite Star Wars movie. There are some parts I did like. What I didn't like was the fact that there were certain like character development. Some characters had good character development. Some was just like all over the place. Like you didn't know where in the next episode where their characters kind of head into. Still a lot of unanswered questions still, and you know, like I will dive into that in the next episode. But I just feel that it's more of a Disney movie than an actual Star Wars movie, and that's just my opinion. But you know, like I said, like I'll dive into more. But it's not the worst Star Wars movie. I mean, I still think like Episode 2 is like the bottom of my list. Yeah. But you know, but we'll dive into that, I guess, later on down the show.
Okay, now let me enlighten you. And crack my knuckles on it. These guys with their 10-second reviews. This is supposed to be a show, not a chuffing advert. We're supposed to be doing an actual bloody show here, and not like, yeah, it was good. Anyway, next topic. We'll move on. Right, basically, I think the people I've seen who are most objective to it are the people who love the original trilogy. They're quite hardcore into the canon, and they love the lore and stuff. And I think that they went into this thinking it's going to be one thing, and it's another thing. It is. It's something new. Disney, as much as they appreciate the fans of the original trilogy, they're not thinking about you. And if you think they are, you're delusional. They're not. They're thinking about who is going to be the people for the next 30 years. Who are the people that they have to inspire now to make sure that this keeps going. Because the people from the original trilogy got to be, what, 40, 50, 60, 70 going up now? So they're not going to be around forever, unfortunately. We all don't live forever. Spoiler alert. So basically, I think that they went into it thinking, because The Force Awakens was so much of a rehash, they said, of the New Hope. And by the way, when Force Awakens came out, everyone loved it. 6 months later, it's a rehash. And they said, oh, there's not enough new stuff. This one, they're saying there's too much new stuff. So do you know what? Goldilocks is a Star Wars fan. So basically, they want it just right. So anyway, I think that they went into this thinking it's going to be one thing, and it's not. As far as the movie, I'd say 90 to 95% I liked. I did. There was certain character stories and certain arcs that I didn't appreciate. I think some stuff drew me out of the movie. It wasn't enough to be like the hatred it's getting. It feels like a bit of a Marmite film. Let me start with a few characters. I'm not going to spoil anything, I promise, but start with a few characters and how I felt about them in the story. Poe gets a lot more in this film. I thought Poe was amazing. The new characters, I quite like them. I think every character I liked. There was characters I liked more than others, but I think that there was certain characters in The Force Awakens that I didn't like. I liked more in this, and certain characters that I felt didn't get enough justice in this or The Force Awakens or anything. As far as the chemistry between Rey and Kylo or Rey and Luke, I felt like everybody. I mean, this is probably the best Mark Hamill for me has been on screen as Luke Skywalker. Probably not the most iconic time we've seen him on screen, but as far as acting wise, as far as the performance he puts in, I think that this is the best Mark Hamill we've actually seen. You got to think Mark Hamill is not an 100% full-time actor. He does voices and stuff like that, but he wasn't the star that came out. I mean, everybody thought he would be the star that came out of the original trilogy, but Harrison Ford went on to take that mantle. So I don't think, for an actor that's not in Oscar films every year and stuff like that. He put in an amazing performance. Not everyone's going to agree with Luke and how he is now and where he's come from the Last Jedi, from the Return of the Jedi. Bloody stop on Jedi names. I think that even Mark Hamill himself, he said, really, this is how you see Luke. And yes, do you know what? This film is bold. It takes a lot of risks. Rian Johnson is known for taking risks. If you've ever watched any of his films, you'll know what kind of filmmaker he is. I appreciated the fact that there was a few moments, and this was in The Force Awakens as well, and I was like, I see where this is going. Yeah, this is a typical Star Wars moment. You know, this is... Yep, and then in this one, pretty much probably every time I said that, I was like, I see where this is... What? The fuck did that go? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, this does take a lot of risks, and as much as you might not like some of the stuff they introduce, some of the stuff they take out, whatever... This film doesn't shy away from doing something new, taking risks, and I think that if you'd give me another rehash of Empire or something, and people saying there's not enough story, no offense, Empire is an amazing film, but the entire film they're just running away from the fucking Empire. I'm sorry, they are. The entire film is just getting away from the Empire and Luke's learning to be a Jedi. That's pretty much it. The story-wise, it's very, very planned out, and I'm not bashing Empire, it's one of my favourite films of all time, but what I'm saying is, there's a lot of story in this. And I've seen a lot of criticism from people as well, where they've missed a few things. Like, they've literally, I think, need to watch this a couple of times, because there's a lot going on, and I think there was a few things like, but why did this happen? And I'm like, did you not see that before, or something like that? Did you not hear that said? You know what I mean? So I think there's a few, there will be a few misunderstandings of why stuff happened, and so I think I'm going to see it again this weekend. I think it needs to be seen a couple of times. There's one part of the film I always wonder which bit would I fast forward if I'm going on Blu-rays. The bit I'll go to the toilet, or like on Saturday when I go, there's a bit that I'm going to go to the toilet in. I know which bit it is now. Mm-hmm. That's the toilet break bit, and it's a bit. It's not going to tell you where they go, what they do, but the story arc of Finn and Rose, I didn't like. That whole segment of their story, I didn't feel it did Finn justice. Also, I feel like Finn's been toned down in this film. In the first film, he was like really like all over the place and like energetic, and he's like trying to run away from the First Order, and he's like, you know what I mean, he's drinking water out of a fountain with a space pig or whatever it was. You know what I mean? He's like, he was quite all over the place and jittery, and he was like, I'm with the resistance, you know what I mean, and stuff. And I feel like this one, he was kind of subdued, and to say he's just been in a back to tank or whatever he's been in, I don't feel like his personality would change that much. So I don't know whether that was a choice or whether. So but do you know what? If you go into this thinking, I want to be entertained, I want to see something new, you'll like this movie. I think everybody who's not a diehard Star Wars fan will love this movie. It does set it up well for the future generations, for things to go forward, because do you know what? As much as we love the original trilogy and Luke Skywalker, this has to end. The past has to end. The original trilogy, the Skywalker saga or whatever. We can't carry this on forever. We can't carry on with the same characters. The universe has to get bigger in order to make more films. So you know what I mean? So basically, we're going to start seeing new things, and there's going to be people that don't like it. So I mean, I'd love to get into spoilers because there's so much to spoil.
Yeah, that's what makes it so hard.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I agree with that part about Finn. I agree with you on the arc. I didn't enjoy that part either. But he is parts in there where he's sacrificing or willing to sacrifice, and he has an action sequence near the end that I think allowed him to shine, in my opinion. But as far as you saying that it has to end, I definitely agree. And I'm a diehard. 5 years old. I became a fan, and we definitely have to move forward. And as Kylo says, let the past die. Kill it if you need to.
You're right. I think people come into a movie with certain expectations. I think there's that certain blanket of comfort. But let's face it, if we keep showing the same stuff over and over and over again, not that no disrespect, I do like James Bond films, but it's the same thing over and over again.
Pretty much.
So I think the Rian Johnson stepping out of the box and adding more intensity and heavy plot to with the storyline and the characters, I think it's pretty good. Like I said, I still need to see it in 3D so I can kind of do the whole gambit. And of course, if I can get the 4D where I'm sitting in a chair and being rocked to death with all the action scenes, I mean, I'll definitely pay for that too, just so I can really do a solid comparison. But definitely see it more than once, because even when I watched it again this morning, some of the dialogue that started at the beginning of the movie made a lot more sense. So just kind of throwing that out there, folks. Definitely see it more than once. All right, even if you're left the theater going, see it twice, maybe even 3 times. You know, like this guy here. I'm probably gonna do that.
So yeah, like the Jedi Chris, I saw it twice, and the first time I was like, oh man, I don't like this movie. So I was like, all right, maybe let me watch it a second time, you know, right before the show, so I could like come up with a good formulated opinion. And I only liked it a little bit more. There was, like I mentioned before, there was a lot of plot holes. I felt like, where's this going? Why is this there? Why is this, you know, like certain character development? I'm like, and you know, to piggyback off what Richard said about like forgetting about us Star Wars fans, 40 years old and up. We made Star Wars. You know, I just felt like we're the biggest fans right now, and I understand where Disney's coming from, where they want to capture the new audience, but don't forget about us. You know, like we're the ones who made Star Wars famous, like, or popular.
Hey, Paradox, let the past die. Kill it.
Well, you know, I
don't want to die.
I got a theory on that too, and it goes actually into our next subject. I believe a friend of mine brought this up to me. These Force Awakens and Last Jedi, that's for the future generation. Mm-hmm. These anthology films, that's for us diehards. You know what I mean? Because they go back and explain, you know, how stuff happened in the original trilogy. You know, Rogue One, now we're getting Han Solo. So I think that's how they're appeasing to both audiences. The Rey stuff, that's for the kids in the future. The anthology, that's for us diehards. You know what I mean? And hopefully now, that's basically what it is.
I just wish that they did it like in the next movie. You know, I mean, there's certain scenes like I felt like, you know, was like a slap to us. But you know, like I said, I won't dive into it too much. But I just wish they didn't do it so fast. I know I give it credit to Rian Johnson for taking a lot of risks in this movie, because you know, I felt like, you know, with J.J. Abrams, he didn't take a lot of risks, and it was like a rehash of A New Hope, right, which a lot of people complained about. But I felt like some of those risks were a little too risky, and.
Someone just spoilt something in the chat. They basically said that Jar Jar Binks is Snoke. I'm sorry if that spoiled something for you. I'm really sorry.
Alright, shut it down.
Misa like a golden robe.
Jar Jar Binks is Snoke. Jesus.
This is all bomb bad. Yeah.
But I mean, it's still a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I still liked it. I mean, I didn't love it, but, you know, I just, you know what it is? Someone, I don't know who kept on saying or how they advertised it, but they were like, this is the darkest, like, Star Wars movie out of all of it. Like, I don't know who kept on saying that. So I have this mindset that this is like, oh my gosh, this is going to be it. This is going to be beating Empire Strikes Back. There's going to be, like, so much. But, and then I went in there, I'm like, wait, this is a totally different movie from whoever. Like, it was Disney that was advertising this is going to be like the darkest, like, you know, like movie.
To be fair, with those 3D glasses, every 3D movie's dark, so I won't even give a shit.
That's why I stay medium with this stuff. Anybody who's saying that clearly wasn't around when the first trilogy came out. You know what I mean? It's got to be somebody in the mid-20s or something, you know, because there's no way, you know, after seeing this. I mean, I liked it and everything, but it's you know, they're delusional at best if they think that. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. You know. But
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I think out of all the movies, I think Episode 3 was probably the darkest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like everything came to a head, you know. So anything outside of that is not going to be dark. So those that haven't seen it, you can take your kids to see it. It's not that bad. So,
to be fair, rolling about in grass and talking about sand, I think I went to some dark places with that shit. So Episode 2 could be pretty dark. You know what I mean? Like, I hate the sands, and I'm like, I'm depressed. Give me some pills. So.
Sorry.
Well, before we get too far, we are giving away a Kota Bakia set of Royal
Nice.
Guards
Nice.
today. So, and we have the winner from last week here. Paradox got his Stormtrooper set last week. So, Jedi Chris, whenever you're ready, you can shoot that trilogy question out there.
All right. Well, I wanted to pick something that those that you know, die hard, and even those that might say like, okay, let's just forget this whole dialogue. So let's just go with.
He's been rehearsing all day as well. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm probably talking too much. But anyway, I wanted to go back with a character that everyone liked, that I heard very little negative fanfare stuff. So, and who am I talking about? The man, the myth, the legend, the master of the Rathad. That would be Jedi Master Mace Windu. So, my question is, look at that. Dun, 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 dun. My question is a two-parter. Yeah, my question is a two-parter, and I won't ask what book it was in or what comic books you find it in, but anyway, what planet was Mace Windu originally from? Ooh. Also, the people that live on that planet, what are they called? You may go.
Good luck.
Good luck. And outside of that, I'm excited to see who answers that, because you know, this guy reads a lot of books and audiobooks and comic books. And no, I don't live in my parents' basement. I actually. So yeah, we're.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
No, he don't live. He don't live in his parents' basement. His parents live with him. It's a big difference.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So we're coming over. We're coming over to have brisket, right?
All right, so moving on, it's been announced this week that Disney is reopening Boba Fett anthology film, which I'm very excited about, and I know what Paradox is, and I was hoping that this Kenobi film would have been Boba Fett, but hey, I can still wait. And so we want to talk about how do you feel about it, what future anthology films would you like to see. And with this Han Solo film, that'll be the first one about a character and not like a situation like Rogue One was. And Paradox, since you're the big time Boba Fett fan, how do you feel about it, man?
I'm really excited for this movie, and it's been like a long time coming, because you know, Boba Fett was one of those characters where you watch like the old trilogy, and you're like, he's so badass, but I want more.
Definitely.
So for him to get, you know, an actual, like, his own movie would be awesome. And I hope that they incorporate, like, him basically growing up right after the Clone Wars and becoming, like, a bounty hunter, you know, after his dad gets, you know, killed, and then going from there, and, like, you know, where he went from there, and how he became a bounty hunter, how he got, like, you know, all the other bounty hunters, like Sluggus, like, you know,
Boss.
you know, Three Dom and Boss, you know, like how he, you know, like how
Dengar, yeah.
And then hopefully, like, you know, with the new Han Solo movie coming out, like, he's also in there, but also kind of like with his own movie, like, tie it in, like, it'll be like Han Solo's point of view and like his point of view, like, you know, like getting bounties, and I just want to see him shine in like the screen, in the big screen, and show like how. As a bounty hunter, he can go toe to toe with a Jedi, or you know, like you know, when the whole like Order 66 and people are like trying to find out like who the Jedi's were, and he's part of like him, like he's part of that, like trying to get like hunt down the Jedi's and see where they are, and him going toe to toe with a Jedi. So,
Chris, what do you think, bro?
Well, I mean, to backtrack a little bit, I mean, we got this Han Solo anthology coming out next year, and I'm hoping that not only does it cover some of the storybooks about the Han Solo trilogy and all that stuff, I'm hoping, but I would like to see if they would even incorporate all the way to Mos Eisley Bar, where he actually shoots first. So, no, I actually when I saw the press about first it was Obi-Wan, and then now all of a sudden it's Boba Fett. I have to agree with Thor. I think whatever hits the theaters in 2020, all of us here on the show and those that are watching, we're gonna go see it. You know, and what I like about the comic books and storybooks, they have so much information that whoever is writing the script really doesn't have to dig too far. I mean, we've seen Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones. We've seen him in the Clone Wars. Okay. We've seen his planet in the Clone Wars cartoons, and also with Star Wars Rebels, which is an excellent cartoon. It's my bonding moment with my son. Him and I sit and watch that and nerd out for a while. Yeah. But bottom line is, we have a lot. There's a lot of things there. I would like to see, because I know the stuff that's no longer canon. You know, Boba Fett in the future. You know, he's like in his 70s, and he's like in still good shape. You know, and him and Han Solo used to still get in these little mini battles in the future, which are no longer canon. So now they've got an opportunity to rewrite it. You know, they could talk about his past and maybe lightly touch on what we've already seen and give a little bit more background, depth, and detail. And now all of a sudden, this, you know, the last 20, 30 years of comic books and novels that are no longer canon, where's he at now? What's he doing? You know, because I don't, you know, not for 1 second is he dead. You know, some of my favorite artwork, which are now statues, is him flying out of the Sarlacc pit. I mean, how awesome is that? You know, so I want to see. I would like it if they would do. Lucasfilm, please listen to this if you're watching. It'd be nice if they would do like a part 1, part 2 for Boba Fett, a part 1 and part 2 for Obi-Wan Kenobi, because there's so much information. There's a lot, and people like us will go see it, and we will buy the cool stuff. We'll get the posters. We'll get the movie cups and all that other stuff, because that's what we do.
Chris, can you just quickly basically give us the answer, what you want again for the actual question, just so people know, because there's 2 parts to it, just what exactly you want to know as far as the answers.
Just the name of the planet where Mace Windu's from and what his people are called.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. It's
And they're not called the Windus.
No. The Ghosh Windu is his family name, but the people were called something else. People that lived on the planet. And I'll throw a little nugget out there. Everyone on that planet is born Force sensitive. You're welcome. Anyway, moving on.
Hashtag nerd. Just put that in.
Oh, we got Paradox Nerd. We just got Jedi Chris, who is a uber nerd over the age of 40, and not living at home. So moving on.
Okay, I'll talk about the spin-offs. I'll first talk about the Han Solo, because I was telling the guys before, when I went to Comic-Con in God knows, I've been to that many places. When I went to London Comic-Con a couple of months ago, last month, I was just at the bar because I was basically filming there. I wasn't drinking, I swear. I wasn't drinking on the job. Everybody at Collectiverse. I was just at the bar just to see what the bar was like and get some footage, I swear. So I went to the bar and I was there for a long time. There was a lot of footage to get. And there was a guy there, and he was telling me he was in the film industry. And I said, "Oh, what do you do?" He's like, "I'm a grip." And I'm like, "Okay, what does that hold carpet down? What is that?" I don't know what a grip is. So basically he was telling me that he just finished work on the Han Solo film. And I was like, my interest literally peaked, and I stopped filming the beers and started talking to him. And I asked him about the Lord and Miller, the directors. They got sacked. They got sacked. Basically, they can put out whatever statements they want. So yeah, it was an amicable split. It sounds like every relationship I've ever had. It's always an amicable split to everybody else, but it's a split. So anyway, talking to them, he said that basically they were turning up not late, but they weren't starting on schedule. They were kind of too relaxed on set. They were, we'll film whenever we feel like it, pretty much. And there was too much comedy in the Han Solo movie for Kathleen Kennedy, which is good to know, really. I don't want too much comedy in a Han Solo film. Han Solo was always funny. He always had his little quips, but it wasn't stand up at the cantina. You know what I mean? It wasn't, it was, so I'm glad that and then they said that even the staff basically just turned up one day and they get the call sheet and it said, Ron Howard, director. And they're like, what? You know what I mean? They didn't even get the memo. It was like, so Ron Howard's coming to do it, and as much as you can say what you want about Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, this man who did Apollo 13, did Splash, you know what I mean? Did some of these amazing films that we grew up with. So I think it's in good hands, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. The only downside is, I think they picked the wrong guy to be Han Solo right now. I would have gone it Alden Ehrenreich from what is it Alden Ehrenreich? You know, from Baby Driver. I would have probably gone with him. I think he's an amazing actor. Is it Alden Ehrenreich, the guy that they've picked or whatever? I don't know. So, but the guy they've gone with, apparently they had to get some acting coaches in and stuff like that, and he's only done one film that I know of, that I've seen, which is the Hail Caesar. So I'm looking forward to that one. That's not far to come out, really. That's, what is it, May or March? It comes out around Infinity War, May, doesn't it? Yeah. As far as the Boba Fett, it's probably going to be set, I think, after the Sarlacc pit. I think it will be set after the Sarlacc pit, and we know that Kenobi's going to be set after he drops Luke off and after he picks Luke up. So basically, while Luke's at daycare for the entire 20 years, Kenobi's doing something else, you know what I mean? So Kenobi's gone to work, dropped Luke off at the babysitters, and basically gone and done something else. So I'm guessing he did something heroic, because an entire movie him sat on sand plimps or whatever for blowing cowls at sand people, I don't think would be a good movie. So I hope that there's something more to it. As far as what I'd like to see, who would I like to see? Could you do a Mace Windu film? Would there be enough to do about Mace Windu? I know.
I'd be there.
Chris, we know you'd be there. You'd be there if they did a film about a friggin' Ewok's turd. So we know you'd be there.
It'd be a cuddly film.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
I think Samuel Jackson said that he wants to do a Mace Windu film. He was also hinted, like, oh, what if, like, I survived, like, the fall from, like, you know, Revenge of the Sith, you know?
To be fair, I've heard he wants to do Princess Diaries 3 as well, because he's in pretty much every other fucking film, so...
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll be down for a Mace Windu film.
4, what do you think about the new trilogy? We've been announced this week that Rian Johnson, as much as people now are calling him Satan, he's doing a new trilogy. And we know he's not doing... We don't know yet if it's episode trilogies. We don't know if it's the next one in the trilogy. We know it's a trilogy. It could be a spin-off trilogy. It could be anything. You went into the... I mean, can you do this without spoiling? I hope you can. You went into The Last Jedi with one theory, you came out with another. Can you tell us that without spoiling the ending or anything?
I will not spoil the ending. When I went into this film, I thought that Rian Johnson's new trilogy would be about the Old Republic. You know, when they were saying that their whole goal was to get away from the Skywalkers and everything, I believe that will be the route that they would go. After seeing this movie, it is clear, and I don't want to get into why, it is clear that that will not be the case. It's hard to elaborate, because, you know, without giving away anything. But when you see it, you will understand as well why I feel that way. But definitely, I can promise you, definitely it's not going to be the Old Republic going forward. But as far as the anthology films go, definitely Boba Fett was the #1 character I wanted to see, because I always felt that he was a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? As badass as you always heard that he was. And, you know, I never thought so until I read some of the old Dark Horse comics, you know, before Marvel took over the comics again. And there was one particular scene, I cannot remember where it's from, and I apologize for that. Jabba, about his servants, is very cynical. Like, he keeps them on their toes. You know, nobody gets comfortable with Jabba. You know what I mean? So it was one part where he turned all the bounty hunters on Jabba. He said, oh, you think you still #1? Take this Bama out. He killed them all. Boba did. You know what I mean? And looked at him and said, what do you think, Jabba? You know what I mean? So it's... After seeing that, I was like, this dude ain't no game. You know what I mean? So
hey, guys.
I always wanted to see... And after getting the statue, you know, I felt that way again, the X and Boba, that he's a missed opportunity. And I think a film with him would be a golden opportunity.
Hey, guys.
I've always wanted to see the Outer Rim, and especially with the Han Solo movie coming out, and with Jabba and the Outer Rim and the bounty hunters, smuggling. And I know, you know, all of us, we love the Force and Jedi, but I think that would be special if done right. They need the right director. And I think that could be, you know, Star Wars Suicide Run / Suicide Squad type of situation, but a whole lot better because Suicide Squad sucks.
Guys, we've been asked basically before we move, can we give our Last Jedi scores out of 10? Can we give them out of 10? So, 4, you want to lead off?
Dark side clouds everything, including Richard Melbourne.
Richard, yeah.
Richard, I don't think I can hear you.
Oh, snap.
Now can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
To be fair, it was my force wasn't in my body, so sorry about that. Basically, can you give your out of 10 for The Last Jedi for everybody on the chat, please?
Oh, yeah. For me, I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
4.
I give it a strong 8. I would.
Jedi Chris?
I would have to give it, because I have to always outdo Thor, 8.5.
I'll give it an 8.5 as well. I think that it's like we said before. I think there is problems with it, but I could probably say there's problems with every film. But I think that it's not a bad film. There will be haters on it. It's not a conclusively amazing film. It depends what you're going in to look for it. But yeah, I'll give it an 8.5. I don't know what the average is out to, but yeah. Anyway, so.
Can I ask you guys a question though? Like in terms of speaking with Boba Fett, I don't have any of you guys played Star Wars Galaxies? It was like a computer game back in the day. Yeah. So, my pick was a character. It was a Star Wars Galaxy based off in like Episode 4, and people picked different characters. Like I picked the Bounty Hunter, of course. But the number one question that I always had an argument with other people was that a bounty hunter versus a Jedi, who would win? And I always pick, for me, Boba Fett versus like a regular like Jedi like knight. I think Boba Fett will win. But I don't know if I'm biased, but I just feel that in Episode 6, like when he was facing Luke, like Luke didn't beat him. It was just like an accident by like Han Solo like whipping around, and he flew into
Boba Fett, where?
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I want to know what your guys' opinion on who would win.
I'll go last.
It depends on who we're talking about. Mandalorians in general equip themselves to deal with Force users, especially when they know they're going to face something. So if we talk about like Yoda or somebody like that, then no.
Yeah.
We're talking about like your average run-of-the-mill, not Padawan, something like that. Definitely, I would take Boba. If we talk, I think if Luke, even if it was even ground, I think Luke would have took him out. Might not have been easy, because you saw he was ready. He tied him up. And he was ready. They have a plan. That's one thing what I've seen from Boba, especially in the books. They're thinking man's warrior. You know what I mean? They're not aggressive. Even his father. You saw that battle. That's a perfect example. When him and Obi-Wan were battling, it was pretty much even kill. So I would definitely say it would be 60-40. 60 being Jedi, 40 being bounty hunter. It's closer than you think.
To be fair though, have you ever tried to swat a fly with a lightsaber? It's terrible. You know what I mean? He was like shooting. It's raining. To be fair, those clothes are going to get heavy when they get wet. Obi-Wan was at a disadvantage. Really, he didn't know the planet. Django kind of lost his head in the last battle a bit, didn't he? He kind of went a bit.
Well, that's what I meant when I said somebody like Yoda, because Yoda and Mace Windu are pretty much, as powerful as each other, But somebody like that, I don't think so. But your run-of-the-mill Jedi, I would definitely say a Mandalorian.
In the chat, people are giving Jyn Erso rumours, and I'm going to read a few out to you, what she did in the past. I heard she was a good cantina girl. Jyn Erso was a former pod racing. Jyn Erso was a former pod racing champion. Jyn Erso once went on a date with Boba Fett. Jyn Erso was secretly a Sith master. I hope she comes back as a cyborg. And I just said she actually, and I actually replied saying actually she marries Stephen Hawking, so we know how that story ends.
Gosh.
These guys make me laugh. Oh.
So I'll add my my 5 cents. So you're talking about Jedis versus bounty hunters. Well, if we're talking about the run-of-mill bounty hunter, no contest. But we're talking about Mandalorians, and they have armor that's lightsaber burn. So there's been 3 things in the Star Wars storyline where lightsabers can't. Well, actually 4 things that lightsabers can't penetrate, and one of them is the Mandalorian steel that they wear.
Maybe they should put some round the neck. Just an idea.
Well,
might be a good idea.
Yes and no, but these guys are trained to defend any weak spots in their armor. They defend it, obviously. So yeah, I would have to agree with Thor on the fact that an average Jedi, let's say Kanan Jarrus, for instance, going up against Boba Fett. Sorry, Kanan. I'm a huge Kanan fan, and I'll tell you, he's not going to make it. All right, whether he has sight or not, he's not going to make it. But Mace Windu, Yoda, Quinlan Vaz,
Obi-Wan
as a master, Luke Skywalker as a master, he's not going to stand a chance. Not going to happen. Okay, but I would like to see some of that in the new Boba Fett film.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm leading to. I was like, I hope we get to see that.
Oh yeah, because he's part of that Order 66 too. He's making money from the Empire, hunting down Jedi. And there's actually a comic book series. He actually took out some masters. So you're thinking, oh crap. And so the guys that were sitting at the Jedi Council in the big circle, some of those guys weren't in the follow-on movies. Why? Well, Boba Fett took them out. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah,
if you look at that Boba Fett mythos statue on his side, he has 3 lightsabers that I assume that he took out some Jedi and took them as trophies. So you got to assume that he took out some Jedi and Force users, to get them.
Absolutely, keeping the trophies, and a lot of the stuff that he has on his armor, some of the braided threads and stuff. Those are all trophies from previous conflicts. So yeah.
Yeah, those are Wookiee braids.
Wookiee gear and all, yeah.
So I think we covered that pretty much. So here comes. This is
can I add one more thing?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
What do you guys think of? We have the new Darth Vader comic books, and I'm reading that. Thor's reading that. I'm sure Chris is reading that. But I always wanted to see Darth Vader in the movie, by himself, like a standalone. What do you guys think about a standalone?
I think James Earl Jones might have to record it now, because he is seriously. I don't even think they took him to the studio in the last one. They just put a mic next to his bed and hoped that he said some Darth Vader shit. Because literally, he's what is he, 95 or something? I watched Patriot Games, Harrison Ford actually the other day, and he's in that, and he's like, he looks like he's 60 just in that, and that was like, God, Sean Bean looks 12. So yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know if could they fight. He's a pretty. I mean, they could get Thor in. To be fair, he's pretty close. He's the same sort of tenor. You know what I mean? He's getting there. So get Thor to do the voice.
This is a hard one for me because this is my favorite character, but I would have to say no, because the only thing we could see from him would be post Episode 3, and obviously, but hunting down more Jedi, but that's why they had the Inquisitors, and I just don't think it would add anything else to what we've seen. You know what I mean? And I don't, and I'm the ultimate Vader fan, but I just don't think it's necessary. I think we need Boba more than we need a Vader film.
Thor just don't want to have to get naked in the cinema, because anytime Vader comes on the screen, he has to get butt naked.
I was ready today, but fortunately for them, I didn't have to.
Spoiler alert! Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. So.
Okay, this is one I've been looking forward to. Nobody won yet, did they? No? Okay.
We're going to wait till the end.
Oh, okay. This is a topic I've definitely been looking forward to. We are ranking now that we've seen this movie, we want to rank all the films from 1 through 9. That includes Rogue One. And anybody volunteer to go first? You want me to pick somebody?
Rock, paper, scissors?
Okay, go ahead, Paradox.
Alright, so I would have to go 5, 4, 6, 3, Rogue One, Force Awakens, Episode 1.
So what's that in film names? Because you just sound like BB-8 gone mad.
Sorry. Alright, so Empire Strikes Back is my number 1. Number 2 is A New Hope. Number 3 is Return of the Jedi. Number 4 is Revenge of the Sith. Number 5 is Rogue One. Number 6, Force Awakens. Number 7 is The Last Jedi. Number 8 is... am I missing? Oh, number 8 is Episode 1, which is The Phantom Menace. And the last one would be... what's the last one? Attack of the Clones.
Okay. Want me to go next, Chris? Or you want to go?
I'll go ahead and go. It's something that, once we were actually talking about rating this, I felt a lot of conflict inside.
It's probably the burrito you had earlier.
Yeah, I feel the conflict within me. Which child do I like the most? But
I'm going to tell your wife to watch this now.
So bottom line, I am one of those guys that's been around long enough. So as said in the previous show, so I'm always going to have to resonate back to the very first one, which is Episode 4. It takes me back to my childhood. Life was simple. Good times, good memories with my parents and family and friends. Jedi, Return of the Jedi would be the next one because back in '83, it was everywhere. I mean, it was in every store. It was reminds me of hanging out with my friends and digging holes, creating our own little Sarlacc pit with some kitchen cups and a ruler from the drawer, and you hit the ruler and they fall in the hole. Oh, Sarlacc. So that always takes me back to that. But then when you start going outside of those of the Holy Trilogy, so to speak, I would have to say the very next one would be Rogue One. And I know that might shock some of you folks, but it really it hit me hard. It really got to me in regards to it. Made sense, and of course I read the books of Catalyst, and then the Rogue One book that kind of fills the gap there. And I really like the Urso family and all that they stand for, and all the trials and tribulations that they went through. So it hit me like certain things stick to you. So like Episode 4, Episode 6, and Rogue One hit me. So New Hope, Jedi, and then after that it's kind of a miasma of chaos. So I think what I like the most is what I could probably not watch again and be okay, which, again, I'm a Star Wars fan, so if it's on TV, I'm not going to change the channel. So going after that, again, would be Episode 5, which is Empire Strikes Back, which I think is kind of the fist of the Empire punching back, literally, and a lot of destruction, so that was great. And then, I would say... I think Episode 1, because of the simplicity of the Republic, and the Jedi had their act together back then, before the Clone Wars. So that is also kind of like a nice movie. So The Phantom Menace would be the next one, and then it would, of course, be Force Awakens. It would be The Last Jedi. I would say Revenge of the Sith. And then Attack of the Clones would have to be last because there's a lot of cheesy romance that could have just absolutely cut out. I think they could have taken Episode 1, 2, and 3 and made it into a 2.5-hour movie, and it would have showed us everything we needed to see.
Someone actually did. It's called the Phantom Cut or something.
Yeah. I actually tried to find it, and apparently I was too slow, and they had it removed from the internet. So I wanted to see that version because I was told it was flawless.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Jedi Chris' take on which child do I love the most.
Okay,
Star Wars.
I'll go. Sorry if I'm looking down, I'm reading. My number 1 would be Return of the Jedi. Just purely, I like the lightsaber battles better in that one. I can forgive the Ewoks for just rolling sticks down and basically killing all the stormtroopers with sticks. I can forgive that bit. I think the Emperor's better in Return of the Jedi. I think Darth Vader, I love the conflict in him in that one. I'll forgive the Hayden Christian Force Ghost at the end that they added in later, hopefully. By the way, now that Disney have Fox, it means that we might be getting an original trilogy theatrical cut in 4K. I know it exists because Gareth Edwards, the director of Rogue One, admitted it exists. So this could be we could in the next 18 months for the FCC to approve all this, but we could be getting The Last Jedi is going to be in 4K. We're going to get a 4K Blu-ray for that. That's the first one from Disney. I think I don't know if it's the first one from Disney, but it's the first one for the Star Wars franchise. So hopefully we'll get that. So yeah, Return of the Jedi is number 1. I love the sail barge stuff at the beginning. Luke going a bit dark at the beginning with the Force choke on the guards at Jabba's palace and stuff like that. Yeah. Then number 2 is New Hope. This is what got me into Star Wars. As much as I appreciate it more because when you see the behind the scenes stuff and you see the rough cuts that they did before, like the old stuff, it was really bad. Like the rough cuts that you see when like C-3PO's voice hasn't been overdubbed and they haven't done stuff to the speeder stuff when they're in the speeder and he's like, yes, that's better and all that crap, and it just looks like a screen just doing that behind them. It looks rubbish. So I think that's number 2. Empire Strikes Back, number 3. I think it's an amazing film. I just enjoyed the other 2 a bit more. I like the Hoth stuff. I like the score. I think in Empire is probably better than the other 2 as much. But apart from the Two Sons bit with Luke in New Hope, that's probably the greatest theme that John Williams has done. One thing I will add, by the way, Last Jedi, the score is unbelievable. I listened to it today in its entirety, and John Williams really knocked it out of the bag. As what you can say about the film, I felt the score was really amazing. I wasn't too fond of The Force Awakens. I thought it was good. I like Rey's theme, but like this one, it's just amazing. So listen to that after you've seen the film. Number 4 would be The Last Jedi. It just got into number 4. Purely for a lot of reasons that we've spoke about already, but I like it just a bit more than the ones that are coming after it. Time will tell if it stays there. Depends how much it ages and how much I like it when I watch it a second time. Then it goes Rogue One. And I usually move these 2 around, but I think Rogue One, I watched them both recently going into The Last Jedi, and I think Rogue One just ekes it out over Force Awakens for me. Apart from the Bogle it will know the truth. And I'm like, are we watching Concussion or Rogue One? What are we watching? Because it's just like, Bogle it will know the truth. So anyway, I'll forgive that bit again. A waste of an amazing actor. Yeah, so Rogue One goes in there. We've had a lot of love for Jyn Erso tonight. I think Rick's trying to get a date with her. Rick, she's dead. I'm sorry. You can do a rant about it later. Send it to me. She's gone. I'm sorry. She's not coming back. Not in a sex bot. Nothing. She's not coming back. I'm sorry. And then we've got Force Awakens after that. Had its flaws. Yes, maybe a bit popcorny. Maybe it is a bit of a rehash. But it was a rehash to bring a new generation into the Star Wars family. It achieved what it wanted to achieve. No, like I said, none of these films are flawless, but I felt like it had a good pacing. I loved the characters. The humour was more on point for me. So yeah, Force Awakens. Then it is Revenge of the Sith. After that, Revenge of the Sith is, for me, the final battle alone makes it go above the other 2. That final battle on Mustafar, we'd always heard about this planet that Vader was made on with the fire and stuff, and to see that actually come, I know he's eating up the scenery. He's pretty much chomping on lava. Anakin, he's really, really getting into it. You underestimate my power. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean. So yeah, so that. But then Phantom Menace is second to last. Don't like the trade stuff, but there's some amazing lightsaber battles in that. The Duel of the Fates, the theme alone gets it to the second from bottom. And then Attack of the Clones, which I think is going to be bottom of everyone's list, and if it's not on the bottom of the 4s, I'll be very surprised. I watched the making of that today, actually, Attack of the Clones. Say what you want about the prequels, they had the best making of discs. They did. The one for the Phantom Menace, I think it's nearly 2 hours long. It shows you the casting for Jake Lloyd and shows you Obi-Wan coming in for his braids and stuff and all the. It was amazing. It's probably they should have just released that. It'd have probably got a better critical review. But the episode 2 one's really good as well. But it's more. They didn't do a big long documentary. It's more split up into different sections on Blu-ray, and somebody's put it together on YouTube. And they're literally in front of a green screen the entire time. And I'm sure they were in front of Revenge of the Sith, and there's a point on it where Samuel L. Jackson's talking to George Lucas about lightsaber colours. And he goes, no purple? And he's like, there could be purple. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, you twat. You know what I mean? Just stick to green or blue, you know what I mean, mate? You don't have to have a gold and purple frigging thing, like, with bad mother effer on side and stuff, you know what I mean? Just have a normal lightsaber, it's fine. So yeah, so it goes, Return of the Jedi, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Last Jedi, Rogue One, Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. 4, go.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, let me throw this disclaimer out before I do my list. Empire. Well, I saw Empire before I saw A New Hope. You know, my mother took me at 5 years old to see Empire. So that's my number one. That's my favorite movie. Like, if I was on death row and they said, you throw a gun and say you got one more movie to watch, it'd be The Empire Strikes Back. I ain't even got to think about it. That's, you know, I could watch that forever, just keep it rolling, throw away, burn all the rest of my DVDs, be The Empire Strikes Back. Now, 2, this might surprise you. You know, disclaimer, I'm a big Vader fan. Revenge of the Sith is my second favorite Star Wars movie. And I still get goosebumps. Just, I mean, the Emperor and Yoda alone, I would have waited an eternity to see that.
No.
You know what I mean? Oh, an eternity to see that. Every time the part comes and the Emperor says, "You will not stop me," Darth Vader will become more powerful than I get goosebumps now just thinking about it. You know what I mean? And that was, you know, and he's killing younglings and all this other stuff, and I was like, my God, I didn't think they would actually have the nuts to show this, you know what I mean? But that's my second one, favorite one. Shoot me, kill me, burn me down, I don't care. Return of the Jedi is my third favorite, for personal reasons, mainly because of my mother screaming at the screen because she loved Billy
Don't
D.
kill Billy D, that's my baby.
And she's screaming, don't kill Billy G, Lord Jesus, don't kill me. And you know, but,
I can never watch that film again for now without leaving your mother going, oh my God, don't kill Billy D, that's my baby, don't kill Billy D.
Not Lando, mind you, don't kill Billy D. You know what I mean, piss on Lando, don't kill Billy D. Anyhow, it was the perfect ending to a fantastic trilogy, you know what I mean, everything, you know, Vader, the way he went out, everything, that was my first goosebumps, real goosebumps I got when and I remember hearing people in the theater saying, that's your son, come on, man. And when he picked him up, like the roar, you know what I mean? And I never since, apart from a couple of these Marvel films maybe, never got a reaction like that from any other movie. Number 4 is Rogue One, and this is why, because that was the first one since the original trilogy that felt like the old days. You know what I mean? Even Darth Vader was in it or not. The last act, the third act, you know, the part when they were on Scarif, the battle that ensued, that felt like the X-Wings and the walkers and everything. It felt like, you know, the old days, you know what I mean? And 5 is The Last Jedi. Not perfect again, as everybody said, but it held its mettle, you know.
It sits in good company as well for, you know what I mean, it's not a shame to be number 5 on that list.
Right. You know, and I mean, I got it over New Hope, so, and then that's my, New Hope is the next one. And this is why I got New Hope number 6. Because I saw Empire first. And one summer in summer camp, they showed A New Hope. And I'm like, oh, good, I finally get to see this. And I'm watching, I'm like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? I mean, it was good, but it was like, it wasn't Empire. You know what I mean? When you see Empire first and you go back and see New Hope, like New Hope's a little bit hokey. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is okay, but it's not Empire. You know what I mean? But New Hope, I got number 6. 7 is Force Awakens. I wasn't that big a fan. It wasn't the worst Star Wars movie, but it was just lacking a little bit, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think it was Kylo that kind of ruined it for me. But
Traitor!
I'll get to talk about that more on Sunday. You know, I switched. You know, Richard, this is gonna surprise you. I switched this around because while I was on the ship, they were showing the old the episode 1 through 3. Attack of the Clones is my number 8.
What?
I used to think that it was the worst one, but I watched that and they showed them back to back, and I said, this isn't as terrible as I thought. I mean, it's still bad, but it was a little bit better than Phantom Menace.
Your words are like sand in my heart. It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
But I mean, you know, but Phantom Menace #9. You know, we got Darth Maul out of it, but to watch it up into the Darth Maul part was like literally like, I mean, cutting your arm. You know, it was just, I don't know, the pod racing thing and all that kind of stuff. It just didn't do it for me. You know, but Attack of the Clones, when I went back and watched it again, really, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as Phantom Menace, in my opinion. And there you have it. That's my list.
I'm too disgusted with you to talk now. Keep talking.
I mean, it's down there, you know. But,
I think,
you know,
to be fair, I watched them all the last 2 weeks, and the first 3 days, I was literally, I've got this dressing gown with a massive, great big tie on it, and I was like, right, tie me to this chair, because you're going to need to get me tied to this chair to watch these 3. Just do it. I was like, oh, I can get through this. I can get through this. I was like, yeah, so the first 3 for me, it's just so much CG, man. I know, but do you know what? Watching the making of, again, the making ofs are amazing, but George Lucas invented a lot of the crap that we take for granted these days. Like, literally, when they went to Phantom Menace, ILM did not have a clue how they were going to make it. And there's actually, they're doing this thing where he's got this board of all these shots, and he's doing one colour for real, one colour for CGI. He's doing this, and the people are just looking at each other like, is he serious? Like, he's got about 300 shots we need to make. And they didn't have a clue how to do it. And that's where we got CGI as it is today. We wouldn't have Avengers or anything without George Lucas pioneering that, and he was the first person to. He was the first person also, and he got frowned upon for this, for doing filming on digital. He was the first person to really, in a major motion picture, to use digital to film, and he got frowned upon by the entire industry, saying, "Well, why is he using digital? This is ridiculous, and it's not the way forward. It's blasphemy." And now lots of people use digital. You know what I mean? It's very rare. Actually, it's probably rarer to see a movie done on film these days. So the man was a pioneer. He pushed technology forward, sometimes at the expense of story, at the expense of not giving us Jar Jar Binks. You know, but yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, even back in the 70s, you know, there was a lot of people that didn't have faith in what he was doing, and they didn't believe it was going to work. And they all had their negative hate speech, you know, even back in the 70s. And see what he did. He moved movies, as you said, Richard, today. He warped it probably 20 years ahead of where it probably should have been if we were following all the other movies that were out at the same time. So he reinvented all that stuff. He really made it. He made movies what it is today, and yet gets very little credit for that. And I think that's a shame, absolute shame.
Well, when Star Wars came out, we were getting a lot of movies like The French Connection, a lot of anti-heroes, Dirty Harrys and stuff, and The Godfather, and it was a very dark time. And Star Wars came out at a time when people were looking for that new hope to sound, that was the cheesiest thing I've ever said, but yeah, they were looking for the new hope. And basically, without Star Wars, I don't think we would have had The Last Starfighter, and that would be a tragedy. It really would. So, has anyone seen The Last Starfighter, by the way? That is for me, that's an underrated film. It's an 80s film, so.
I love it, yeah. It's good. You know, E.T., all those other movies that came out around that time, I think they got their inspiration and catalyst from what George Lucas did. And then George Lucas got his mentorship from Francis Ford Coppola. So, I mean, you've got he had really good mentors, you know, and I think George Lucas surrounded himself with really talented people like Spielberg and other folks. And I think we owe it to George Lucas for what he's done, you know. And now he's got himself in a position he can make a good film or a bad film, and doesn't really care what people think. I mean, he's in the comfort zone.
Thor, Gary was on earlier, and he said hi to you, and I forgot to tell you. I apologise. I was probably.
Hey, Gary, what's up, brother? You probably asleep now, man. But
he'll be on Sunday. He'll be on Sunday.
As far as I'm sorry, Chris. As far as the Star Wars goes, yeah, it would be no summer trilogy. It would be no. I mean, it would be no summer blockbuster. It'd be no trilogy. I remember a while ago. My wife and her sister, they big time Harry Potter fans, and they're gonna try and tell me that it's better than Star Wars. I said, look here, people. No. I took care of them. I said,
I appreciate you standing the watch, Thor.
I said the movie is 40 years old. 40 years old. you can go to any Walmart, Toys R Us, whatever, and there's a Star Wars section. I said, let's wait 40 years to see if you can go, and there's a Harry Potter section. You can't go down there. Ain't no Harry Potter section now. Okay, yeah. So
Gary's still with us, by the way. He's
oh, what's up, Gary?
I don't know what drugs he's doing, but can you send me some, please?
Hey, before I forget, Ian from ID Collector. He's also one of our collector series. He's one of our guys as well. He's over in Santa Monica, believe it or not, this evening. Lucky guy at the AMC Westfield Theater. And guess who he's hanging out with? Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
He's out there with the director, and basically it's a Q&A session before and after the film. So he's there, and hopefully he can squeeze in some footage for the show. But I think him just being there, you know, God bless him. But you know, I wish I was there too. But
I just heard something about Ian and Ryan's hanging Johnson. I was like, it sounds like Ian.
Well, I mean, it all depends on your perspective. But at the end of the day, he's hanging out with some media elite folks, and I'm not, you know, apparently. So there you go.
Got many sides too.
I want to quickly take the guys through something Star Wars related. Basically, we've been doing a lot to the site lately, and we've been adding new sections because we're starting to get pop people on there and figure people on there, and statue people don't want to see pops and maybe don't want to see figures. So now we actually have a way of filtering even the homepage, so you can just see statue stuff or just see figure stuff. But also we've been adding pages for like different franchises and stuff like that, and we do have a new website page for Star Wars. And you see it here. If you go to franchise at the top and then go down to Star Wars, it's there. And you can see all the latest news, all the latest pre-orders for Star Wars, and you can go through them, and there's all the latest reviews. There's a bit about the giveaway that we're doing at the minute. If you become a subscriber, basically you get put into this giveaway for all this stuff, over $200 for stuff. We're going to do one every month as well. I've just been planning out what the ones are for next month, and next month is going to be a really good one as well. They've got latest unboxings and collecting chats. SITH Happens is on there, and other collecting chats that have had Star Wars related, and event videos. So basically, if you just like Star Wars, you can go to there, or you can type to the website, go to the franchise and the Star Wars section. We also have DC, Alien, Marvel, Predator, Transformers, X-Men. Then we have a few character pages. So we have Darth Vader as well. He's got his own page. So when that wants to load, basically. So Darth Vader, at Thor's request, pretty much, Thor says like that. Darth Vader's my baby. Darth Vader needs a page. So yeah, we made Darth Vader a page. So sorry, Thor. I'm going to have to use that voice on everyone now. So, but yeah, I just wanted to just run people through that, and yeah. So we're always going to be making changes to the website to try and cater to everybody, because we know some people don't like certain stuff, but we want to make sure that we do stuff for everyone. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say, mate, just about the website, really.
No, thank you. It looks really good. I mean, we just keep hyperspace. You know, we keep like spring loading into new stuff, and it's making the show awesome. So and the website looks beautiful. So
yeah, it does.
I've been showing a lot of people already. I'm telling friends. Even last night at the movie theater, I wore the Collectibles shirt. I was telling everyone about the show and everything. So
and they beat you up.
Yeah, bye. It was good.
They were like, look at that nerd. He's reading a book.
Right.
Hey, Paradox, you want to tell them what you got coming up on your channel in the future? Or?
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for a couple more things coming out. I got the Death Trooper on pre-order, so
definitely want to see that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I saw it in like Celebration, and I wasn't impressed. But then when I saw like kind of the production piece, I was like, all right, I gotta get this. Just, I mean, right now, I'm actually interested in the SM Studios Darth Maul. I know it doesn't light up, but hopefully they can do that at some point. But that one I'm looking into. Captain Phasma. I'll tell you guys that about that on Sunday without giving out anything. But yeah, I got a lot more statues. Mostly Star Wars villains. I don't know if you guys see my channel, most of my statues are like, you know, dark side users or just villains in general.
That's why you don't like Last Jedi, because you're just evil.
Too much good stuff going on. So
yeah.
you're not participating in it. Yeah, I get it.
It clouds your judgment. That's all it is.
Yeah, but there's one part there that was pretty dark, which I like. So, but I'll mention that.
It's cool because I was talking to somebody earlier about the movie, and I told him I would argue outside of Batman that Star Wars has the best collection of villains out of any. You come up with anything, and Star Wars right there as far as villains go. You know what I mean?
I agree. Absolutely.
I agree. But the thing is, like with the villains, they look cool, but they don't last long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like. Sorry, Chris.
I would say that's why they have comic books and novels, so we can get more time with those folks.
Can someone turn the geek down, please? He's like,
no, not happening. Not happening.
God.
So, Richard, did we get a winner or?
Yes, we did. Wait a second. It is the channel Arawarn, Arawarn, and I will find his answer. Sorry about this. I got to go back through the chat. It's basically it's a lot of Rick talking about his love of Jyn Erso. So we're just got. Apparently he's gonna do a rant about how you can't have Jyn Erso. So.
Oh God, here we go.
He said.
You want me to read it off and see if it matches?
Yep, go on then.
All right, the planet where Mace Windu comes from is called Harun Kal.
Yep.
And the name of the people that live on the planet are called Kornai.
Yep. I don't know if it's
weird, but yeah.
Yeah, that you got it right. So Arawan, if you're still watching, if you can email your details to sithhappens@collectiverse.com, we'll make sure that gets out to you. Thor's pretty good at sending stuff out, so.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's a tough one.
That was a tough one.
Next week, are we giving anything away on Sunday or not? Are we just going to be giving away spoilers basically on Sunday? That's all we're going to be giving away.
I'm gonna see if I can pull something to give away. We'll post that tomorrow. I'll post something.
So to be fair, these giveaways are getting out of hand. I've come up with themes for each giveaway for the TV show Collectiverse for next 6 months, and they're literally, I'm trying to like hold back from spending so much money. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, let's just give this away. Let's give away a Porsche. No, I can't do that. No, we can't give it away.
I got pops and action figure stuff that I can give away as well. So don't feel like we have to go too crazy. I mean, there's a whole multiverse of collectors. So
yeah.
I'm the action figure. So there you go.
I might have something for you guys to give away. Might be something good.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Appreciate it.
Is that a dark kyber crystal or something? You know what I mean? What is it? Is that a dark relic? Is that like, you know what I mean? Is it gonna make people evil? What you give away?
Maybe.
Oh, how can you part with that, man?
Right. Anyway, guys.
I have a lot.
What the hell is that, Boba? I think that we'll wrap it up there because it's 3:15 in the morning and I need my beauty sleep so bad you've seen me. So.
Folks, it's been a great show. Thank you, Paradox, for coming on. He'll be back on Sunday for our No Holds Barred spoiler review of the movie.
Yes, please.
So, appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. And of course, be with all of you.
Thanks to everybody in the chat for all your contribution. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you on Sunday for the spoiler review. Bye, guys.
There you go. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you guys.